Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be taking a look, giving you a highlighted Cliff Note version breakdown from the last and most recent update preview video for 1.0.41 that is going to be releasing in a couple days. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us out, because that's a lot. Thanks. Okay, here we go.
Age of Duality is here. In this new season, realms will be divided into two camps, expeditioners and defenders.
Okay. So you got two camps this time. However, it feels to me this is a little bit different. Part of me feels like I remember there being like a 2A, 2B at some point, but maybe I'm just like brain rotted right now for just my memory recollection currently. However, there's three realms. You're going to have an A and two Bs per team. And then on the CD team, you're going to have two Cs and four Ds. Now, I feel like the feedback we've provided and have maybe stated publicly, because I don't know if anyone has actually provided. Well, I know people have, but I don't know if it's gone through any kind of official channels. However, what I've been saying, along with what I've heard others say, is that we should have just A teams, B teams, C teams, and D teams. And then if you absolutely need to do some pairings, right, then you can go ahead and maybe do that for some of like the lower powered groups. You know, like for example, let's say you had, 20 A teams. So the fifth team, right, in that case, or like, let's say, via like, 20, let's say you had 20 A kingdoms, not teams, excuse me, 20 A kingdoms. And you did 3 A's, or I guess it had to be 18 or 21, right, if you're doing divisibles of 3. But let's say like the 6th or the 7th team, if there was like an odd number or something in that case, then maybe you throw like a high B in there as an example. But trying to get it to where you have however many A's, however many B's, and maybe what you do is you allow for like the C's and D's to kind of be, the odd man out, if you will. If there's like one extra or two extra kingdoms here or there, you can maybe do some combinations, maybe on the lower power tier thresholds, just so it doesn't impact the top groups, if you will, as much. And again, I just feel like that could be one of the better ways to do it, just based on trying to reduce some margins, if you will. And so going with, because the biggest problem has been, which we've seen complaints about, is the fact is that when you're combining A's and B's and C's and D's, the power gap is just too wide. If you remember, we did that. I compiled this data when we looked at what the power differentials were between the top A and the bottom A. And I think it was around like 16 billion power. Then we looked at the Bs from the top B kingdom to the lowest powered B kingdom. And I think it was around 14.5 billion power differential. So it's very wide. And obviously, we still have to wait for the merging to continue, because that will help kind of raising the bottom up and, anything that they can continue doing on the top end. But this is one of those things where, feedback's been provided, and you would like to believe that this is one of the ways that we can correct what was so blatantly obvious the last go around, or the last time we had a team up phase. So again, those are my general thoughts on that. I'm curious what you guys think on this one. We'll see. But they're still doing paragons, right? So it's top 3 kingdoms. We'll get a paragon classification. Let's continue.
This season also introduces artifacts variants, which allow you to bring 2 artifacts into the battle.
Oh, did you hear that? Now, I say this because there were some people that were on the COD Discord, I think a couple days ago, and some people were saying that it's not actually 2 artifacts that are being brought into the field, and that there was a miscommunication or something to that effect. Now, I don't know if they were being honest or they were trolling, but that's what some people were saying. And so now I look at this, and I mean, that's pretty clear. And they even give me the visual aid of seeing artifact here on the primary, artifact on the secondary. Now, my thing on this, you guys know, I've said this even when the double skin thing came out. I'm okay with this only if all of the legendary artifacts, and even the exemplars as well, right? Obviously, once you get the unlock, are able to be accessed through free-to-play means, just like with legendary heroes. Because now the challenge is that now what happens when you take 2 legendary heroes that are paywalled or behind some kind of a gate, and free-to-play can't access them? And then what happens if you're using 2 of those that a free-to-play player can't access, and now you're double artifacting them? I mean, talk about just drop kicking you in your ovaries more so than you probably would not or want to happen. Basically, that's what we're trying to say. It's painful. And it's a hard pill to swallow. And so if you allowed for these things to happen, and I'm also of the belief that, listen, as a free-to-play player, I would like to see free-to-play players being able to like max out 10 legendaries by the time they get to SOS, or maybe like SOS 2, SOS 3, somewhere around there, the same way I feel about artifacts. And I say this because if you're someone who spends, and keep in mind, even if you're someone who spends, you're still going to be able to, the same pacing and progression would apply to you as well. You just still get there faster because you're spending. But the idea being is that it is kind of depressing when it takes you so long just to get to the bare minimum. And the fact is they're always coming out with more artifacts, more war pets, and more heroes. So it's not as though if free to play by the time SOS starts, which is technically their 4th season, and they get to a point where it's like, okay, I have 10 legendaries that I have maxed and 10 artifacts that I have maxed. Anyone who's spending money is going to have more than that. So it's just like, what I'm talking about is just get to a bare minimum starting point. And it's crazy to me that it feels like that's just, how far away is that, right? And like I said, that's one of the things I want to go around and ask some of the free-to-play peeps, especially the top free-to-play, because I'm just curious, like, how far along are you by the time, like, where are you now, given you've been in, for some of these players have played, 10 plus seasons. So it's, it's like one of those things, man, where it's like, it is wild to me to think, because like, to me, I feel like if I was a free to play, that's my starting point, like just bare minimum, right? Like that's just vanilla for me. Like just get me to the starting line. So it's, there's no customization you can do. You don't get the benefit of using all the extra ones to enjoy their stamina, etc. It's just, so I'm curious what you guys think about that. You let me know. Here, let's continue.
Artifacts into the battle.
Build alliance portals in key locations to allow members to teleport and provide support in battles.
So this is interesting, right? We get a little bit more information here on the alliance portals now. So they say portals are special alliance buildings that allow you to summon legions from an alliance in your camp. Okay. After you have selected which alliance to bind to the portal, its members can send legions through the portal to aid you in battle. Now, I'm curious if you can switch the bind, right? Because I feel like you probably should be able to aid in battle. Each camp has a limited number of alliance portal activations shared between all alliances in the camp. Binding an alliance to an alliance portal consumes 1 activation. Now, I'm curious if this is just, oh Lord Almighty, excuse me. Whew, man, dude, that came out of nowhere. Lord. So in this case, you're going to build it, it looks like a flag, right? So you're going to place it down, and then I wonder if your alliance, like the alliance's territory that you're going to put it on, if that particular specific alliance has to build it, which feels like that's probably the case, but then other people can use it. So, and then that makes me wonder, it's like, okay, well, you're going to build the portal, but wouldn't you technically have to build 2 portals, one, or even more, even if you have one portal that is the receiving portal, right? So you have like sender portals that are sending troops and the receiving portal where the troops are coming out of. So like that part I'm a little curious on is, how is that one going to work? Are you going to have to build 2 or more portals? Are you building 1 portal? And then, for example, as long as you're in an alliance that the portal is not built on for that alliance's territory. So like, let's say the portal's built on Alliance A territory, but Alliance B, C, and D, maybe all they have to do is click on the portal after it's built and they can teleport to it, as an example. Like, I'm just curious on how that one is going to work, right? Because there's a lot of unknowns. It would have been nice if they showed an example of that, which would have been great. That I felt like was a missed opportunity in this video, because that would have only taken a couple more seconds for them to do and explain. So each camp has a limited number of alliance portal activations shared between all alliances in the camp. Binding an alliance to an alliance portal consumes 1 activation. And at the same time, can you have multiple alliance portals, right? If that's the case, can you, like, if it's only binded per 1 alliance, well, I guess you couldn't, right? Because it says you can only have 1. But yeah, it is a little iffy on that, on the language there. After reaching the required Augustone chapter, alliances will receive 40 alliance portal activations. Okay. So we know that now. Lovely. All right, let's look at the new behemoth, which I think it's next.
Defeat the brand new Magma Demon Behemoth to receive a new achievement.
Ooh, CPU recovery speed 10%. Rewards for Mia. Okay. Isn't she just going in the... Oh, I guess it is her, huh? So she's replacing the magma in this case? Okay. There's an artifact here. Let's look at that.
This update also introduced...
So this exemplar effects. Geez, so +5 damage dealt. Can take it. Magic unit attack. Legion attack +5. +4. Deals diffused magic damage. A factor 3,000 to up to 6 enemy legions. Damn. In a designated circle. The fewer units an enemy legion has remaining, the more damage is dealt.
This is a new legendary artifact, Dragon's Fate. This artifact pairs well with magic heroes and can be...
It says with a buff of up to 20%. Legion, oh wow. Additional effect, when launching normal attack, the wielder's legion has a 50% chance to deal extra magic damage the next time it deals hero skill damage, most likely.
Be obtained from the Forge of Light and Riches of the Forge.
Increases damage. Okay. Damn. What else do we got? There is, oh yeah, the gold chest. Okay, so we're gonna look at gold chest. Let's see where that is. I think that's here. Dun, dun. Here we go.
Will be available as rewards.
During Season of Strife, you can select 8 legendary heroes to add to the gold chest prize pool. All G1 and G2 legendary heroes are available, except for Lilia, Husk, and Indis.
Yeah, now like part of me feels like, you know, maybe they could add G3 and then just wait a little bit to eventually add G4. It also would be nice if maybe, even if that is the plan, now that they've added G1 and G2, you would assume that eventually they're going to do G3 and G4. Why not just put a little disclaimer up there and said, hey, you know, after the new gen heroes are released, or maybe they'll do it like once the final heroes in that gen pool are released, then they'll add them in. Personally, I think that's a little bit too long. I feel like maybe you should add them in after one full KVK cycle has been played through all of the gen pools for SOS, right? So as an example, if the new G4 heroes release, right, once Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 have finished a full cycle of the upcoming KVK, then you would add whichever heroes are therein, right? Because at least that way, the people that are spending still get at least one season of using the new heroes before free-to-play could start pulling for them, right? That, to me, that feels like at minimum, because that's at least, you know, 2 months, 2 to 3 months maybe of time, right? Depending on how much longer the current season has before the new season starts. But I'm curious for you, like, how would you like to see them do this? Like, would you like them to do it like that? Maybe they need to wait 2 KVK cycles before they start adding in heroes, or maybe no, once a new hero is introduced, 30 days after added in to the gold chest. Like, what would be optimal for you? Okay. Next is going to be Alliance Siege Bastion. So where is this? They did mention this. Oh yeah, right here. Hang on. Here we go.
Alliance Siege Bastions now have a protection timer, preventing them from being destroyed by legions for 20 seconds after construction begins.
Authorized.
Yeah. Now, there are 2 ways of looking at this. One way of looking at this is that, well, if you already control the field anyways, then they're probably not going to throw it down. Otherwise, if they control the field, right, they're probably going to try and throw it down. Now, keep in mind, they may still even just throw it down as like a short-term block if maybe they know that, or a placeholder if they know that, okay, our armies are coming. So like they'll do an early placing and just buy themselves, you know, maybe those 15 to 20 seconds just so they can get themselves there. Or if they feel like the momentum shifting, throw it down to start building it, because you kind of have this like protection timer there on it where they can't touch it. But I feel like in most cases, I mean, do I feel like this is going to be drastically changing anything? I mean, I don't know. Part of me just feels like I said, part of me feels like you're going to throw it down in most cases when you're safe to do so. You're not really going to throw things down in a hostile environment where there's a bunch of enemy troops all around you and you're not able to get any significant time built on it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, throwing this handicap out there, it's like, you know, the whole point of you throwing down your bastion is to do it tactfully, right? And if you throw it down and it gets immediately crushed, I mean, that's on you, right? Maybe you shouldn't have thrown it down in that moment, or, you know, maybe you threw it down when you thought you had the edge, but then they overpowered you and then it got crushed within those first 20 seconds. I mean, You know, that's kind of the name of the game, I feel like. So again, I could see two sides of it. I feel like I just kind of fall on the side of like, you know, why give the handicap, right? I just don't know if there's necessarily like a hard justification for something like that. Next one is going to be RSS pit times. I think we got next. Here we go.
Ben.
Alliance resource centers no longer have capacity limits, but instead only exist for a limited time.
So in this one, right, you got 6 levels. It looks like it's showing us anywhere from 7 to 12 hours of duration. Part of me almost feels like it'd be nice if maybe this went up to 24 hours, right? Because 12, it's like, what happens if you have certain people that aren't able to take advantage of it that much just due to being in different time zones, right? Like, why aren't we factoring that? To me, it feels like 24 hours at minimum should be the maximum, right, that you can get out of this. So I don't know how other people feel. Like maybe some of you are like, nah, man, 12 hours is great. But what happens if they throw it down when, you know, you're sleeping or you're not able to take advantage of it at any point in time? I don't know. Part of me just feels like maybe 24 hours would be a nice kind of middle ground to just start at. But maybe some of you were like fine with 7 to 12 hours. I don't know. But at least they gave us a little bit of a breakdown of how that looks. I'm curious what you guys think. Is 12 hours long enough, or would you rather have it a little bit more? Do you agree with the 24-hour take, or no, 12 is just fine for you? And then last one we're going to take a look at here is some bloopies.
Forward to seeing you in the next one.
Update video. Have
too.
you found all the letters?
Defeat the brand new magma demon.
This magic
love his
hero can be
confidence.
obtained from Lucky Wheel. No, Lucky Spinner, no.
Lucky wheel,
In
yeah.
the Chest of Charms event, the number of available Warped roster. This new Warped specializes in...
Yo, they got him. Oh, that's so good, man. Was it? It's just like, yeah. Did they just play like a bird chirp noise or something, like a machine in the back? That was actually a pretty good one. I like that. Let's see some comments. What do we got in here so far? So, let me see. Chiz G4 Mages, great vid, looking dapper. We want new factions, dude. Most upvotes, wild. Same as always. More reward for pay to win. Nothing changed. It's been 4 years. Artifact event is very shite. Hope it would be fixed. Why we still can't max gold keys heroes after 2 years? See, dude, and this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about where I want to like dig deep into that, because I think you really need to understand it, that the bare minimum progression for every player is at a free-to-play level, right? Until you decide to spend money. And so what does it look like at that baseline progression? Because someone who spends is not a baseline, right? It's a baseline for spenders, but it's not a baseline for if you don't spend anything in the game, right? AKA free-to-play, AKA the slowest progression, or normal progression is probably the better word to use. So I'm really curious on that. Bring the Gotham Mommy. Excited for new updates and characters. I like the costumes. Well done. Add a blacksmith to the city economy buildings, and please add more season adventure minigames at the castle gates. Thank you. I thought we were going to be able to trade in our G1 gold crystals to use for newer G legendaries. What's this great update? Looking forward to a nice update. Need more yellow tokens. 500 around season 1. Good for free to play to reach C5 and can compete with pay to win to some extent. Friends who do not speak English or from countries English not spoken. Okay, subtitle no. By the way, your game is extremely fun and addicting. The Bastion change is the worst change in the past 2 years. Can you guys slow down on the skill showcase? Like, I mean, just pause. You know, you can still figure it out. Wow, so nice. Let's see if we can read one more too in here. What is this? If they put in a way to change heroes with common keys, why don't they put in a way to change artifacts so they can come out with common keys? How do they change free-to-play players or small donors? So, oh, I see. I see what they mean. Are they saying basically they just want like to add more to the compendium so that way when you're using your forge keys, you can kind of get more pulls off of those, similar to what you would do for gold keys in the gold chest? Okay. What is this? Please hire someone to make COD official content at least acceptable with all the love you guys. I like this video. 6 years old, kid in the school, summer holidays, I level up game. What? Argus Oflamia. Okay, cool. There you go. There's the word. All right. So yeah, it looks like some mixed opinions there on the comment section. You guys let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.